about what we've been through in our life. And so do you guys mind if I share a little bit of my testimony tonight? Well, I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. I grew up in an incredible home. I'm so grateful for the way that I was raised. My parents, who are actually both here tonight, they came all the way from Kentucky to be here tonight, guys. You all give it up for them? I think they're out there somewhere. I can't tell, but they are amazing. I'm so grateful for them. They taught me to love God and to fear God, and that Jesus loved me, and they really helped kind of shape the woman that I am today. I grew up with an older sister and an older brother. My sister's name is Elizabeth, my brother's name is Jacob, and the five of us just had a really sweet life. It was so amazing. I remember just being so grateful that the Lord blessed us and gave us each other. And we grew up right next to a creek, and so I remember running in the creek all the time as a little girl and having a blast. And we also grew up going to our family farm every weekend. My granddad, it's been in our family since 1920, and my granddad owns hundreds of acres in Kentucky, and it's absolutely beautiful. And so I grew up going there every weekend and shooting guns and hunting and fishing and all that fun stuff, and had a blast as a little girl doing that. I wanted to be an astronaut growing up. That was my biggest dream. I wanted to work for NASA. And I remember being a kid, like 3 or 4 years old. I have vivid memories of this, and my mom says I used to do this, but I would just stare out the window into space. Like, I was so fascinated with going there one day, and I think it was just the idea that we can see so much of God's creation down here, but we don't get to see a lot of it up there. And I was so fascinated with that as a kid. I took extra classes in high school and middle school to try and get good grades, to get into a good college. And then when I was about 15 years old, my life pretty drastically changed. Me and my family had gone through a pretty rough tragedy. It's actually really special to be here tonight in South Carolina because my brother went to the Citadel, and he went there for his freshman year of college. And I remember pulling in today and seeing a Citadel sticker, and I know we're a little far from there, but I just remember seeing that and going, wow, I feel like my brother's with me. My brother passed away on June 7th of 2017. My brother Jacob died in a car accident, and it was the most tragic time of my entire life. I remember feeling like just so devastated and so heartbroken and just so empty inside. I remember just the moment that we found out that my brother passed away, just being like, why, God, why? I'd gone to bed that night, and I was woken up at 3:30 in the morning by my sister. And so I ran downstairs to see what's going on, and I saw 6 police officers standing in front of my front door, and they all looked really, really sad, but they wouldn't say anything. And so then I go into my living room, and that's when I saw my parents in complete and total despair. My dad was crying and had his head in his hands, and my mom was pulling her hair and screaming and crying. I had never seen my dad cry before in all of my life. And so I remember thinking like, wow, this is bad, something's happened. So I go to my dad, and then I just asked, is Jacob gone? And he looked up at me and said, yeah, Ian, he's gone. And so in that moment, my life it was falling to pieces. The thought that I wouldn't get my brother for the rest of my life. He was 23 years old in the prime of his life. Kept thinking he's never going to get married, never going to have kids, he's not going to be there for my wedding day, all these things that are coming in my future. And I was absolutely heartbroken. I remember just being so and completely devastated. But in that very moment, literally in that exact moment I found out that my brother had gone to be with Jesus, I heard the voice of God speak to me as clear as day. He said, Anne, are you going to trust me or are you not? And I remember hearing that sweet, still, small voice, and it convicted me. And for just a second, I hadn't even really thought, what was I going to do? But I remember just feeling in my spirit like, I have to make a decision. Am I going to lean on God, or am I going to push him away and be mad at him and angry and go to this whole thing on my own? And so I remember turning around in that room, and I just said, Jesus, I trust you. And when I did that, there was like this immediate weight that was lifted off of my shoulders. And I knew in my heart I was going to be able to get through this tragedy and make it to the other side. And I'm so grateful that God has been with me and my family. I literally feel like he's held my hand and walked me through the last 6 years of my life. And now, I'm sitting here over 6 years later, traveling the country, telling people about Jesus and the gospel, all because of what God did. He took something so broken and turned it into something so beautiful. The whole song, My Jesus, the whole name of the tour wouldn't have been birthed unless my brother had passed away and gone to be with Jesus. And so it's a bittersweet moment for me to be standing up here tonight, but I'm so grateful that I'm living proof that God will use tragedy and He will turn it into something beautiful. I don't know what you guys are going through tonight. I'm sure there's some of you in here, maybe because of my story, and you were familiar with that, and maybe you've been through loss, or maybe you're in here tonight and you've just recently gone through a divorce or a job loss or something really, really hard in your life. I want you to know that Jesus is in this place tonight, that He is for you, He is not against you, and He's going to give you what you need to take your next step and to continue on with where you are in your life right now. Tonight, I'm going to play you guys a really, really special song. I remember sitting down with Matthew West last fall. We write songs together all the time. And our other good friend, Jeff Pardo, and I said, there's so many songs about heaven, but there's not any songs about sitting in pain for just a second and facing it. Because when we do face pain and we do face death, that's where we're reminded of our comfort, that our comfort is in knowing that Jesus is in heaven, that He defeated all, that He has the final say, that He has the victory, and that our loved ones are with Him. And that one day there will be no more crying, no more tears, no more weeping, no more sorrow, but it'll be beautiful and perfect and peaceful. And so this song that we're going to play, you guys, is one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It is so special to me. I released it on June 7th this past summer, and I hope that it ministers to you and blesses you tonight. This is called 7th of June. My friends, they know I won't pick up if they call me. One day you're here, and that one day is here. My tears just like a summer rain are falling. It's just what they do when I start missing you. Why'd you have to go? And why'd I have to stay? And when's it gonna get easier to make it through the day? I go out walking, I ain't much for talking, just thinking and crying and praying and trying to make sense of what don't make sense in this life. Like wildfire, out here by my side. They say it's gonna get easier, and I wanna believe that's true. It's just harder on the 7th of June. I've been singing songs ever since the day that you left me. Crazy how my life has changed, every night a different stage. And sometimes it feels like you and God are watching. Are you looking down on me? I wonder if you're proud of me. Oh, I go out walking, I ain't much for talking, just thinking and crying and praying and trying to make sense of what don't. Like wildfire, out here by my side. They say it's gonna get easier, and I wanna believe that's true. It's just hard on the 7th of June. I cried there, God here by my side. And they say it's gonna get easier, and I wanna believe that's true. It's just harder, oh, it's just harder on the standing the dream. Oh, oh, oh. My friends, they know I won't think of if they call me. 'Cause on the 7th of June, it's just me and you.